Hello tankers and tankettes, welcome to a slightly older replay. This is 9.1 and this is the IS-7. I figured I haven't actually put up kind of a top tier heavy game on the channel for a while, so I dug this one out the archives. It's with Circon in the 125 there and Foch in the E50M. Now we're on mines and we've spawned south, but there's no artillery, so this is going to be a tough fight if we're going to take it. But we are starting at something of a disadvantage. Also, note that the enemy team has got Batchat, a Leopard 1, an STB-1, and a pair of IS-8s, as well as an AMX-1390. We've got a Batchat, Foch in his E50M, T-54, and a 1390. So they have more top-tier medium tanks. So the chances are that they are going to take the hill. Our Batchat isn't even trying, so that's us already our only tier 10 medium down. The 1390 and the T54 go for it. Foch sees what's there and thinks better of actually trying. And, oh yes, the enemy team has got a Lorraine as well, so another fast medium, well, fast-ish medium. But basically, Foch decides, no, that's not worth it, so he backs off. I have, however, arrived just in time to hopefully prevent more of them getting up the hill and to take a pot shot at this Lorraine. So that's quite nice. Foch sets them on fire, which is even nicer. A nice lucky RNG roll there. So he's going to be pretty low health now. He should be less of a threat. And the fact that there's no artillery makes this is actually quite now a nice spot for me in an IS-7. I can be hull down. I can use my hull armor. But if I pull out too far, well, that's a Batchat up there on the hill, so I've got to be careful about not giving either of those medium tanks on the hill my axle to shoot at, because that could go very wrong very quickly. So we've lost the T-54, we've lost the 1390, but the situation seems relatively stable otherwise. We've got a T-30 on the 1-2 line, at least guarding that approach, and you can see there's an IS-8 on the enemy team on that one line there. So he's, well, not really a problem now, but if we lose control of the 1-2 line, that could be an issue. On the other side, we've got T-30, Circon in the 125, T-57 Heavy, and a Waffle E-100. And there's the enemy Death Stars over, sort of looking in that direction anyway from the middle of the map, so we know the Death Star isn't camping at A4 at least. But it means that Circon and the T-57 Heavy might have a tough time moving up. There's also a Jagdtiger, a 704, and an enemy T-30 who might be camping. So again, we can't really push into the try and flank around these guys because there's just going to be crossfire. Now that E-100 is going to be a problem for me. We managed to kill the Lorraine, which was quite nice, and took a hit from the 57 Heavy there, so I've backed off a bit. But that E-100 is, he's going to be able to position himself in such a way that it's going to be very difficult for me to shoot at him. Now they've pushed up a bit, they are getting more tanks on the hill unfortunately, and my backup here, well, I've got a mouse, I've got an IS-8 behind me, the Conqueror is getting a bit beat up, but most of the shots I'm going to have that E-100 are basically just at his crossbar, and I'm firing up at his crossbar. So these are extremely tough shots. In fact, they might not even be possible. Maybe I should have just loaded my 1A PCR shell and tried to punch it through the front of his turret. But even then, I'm still firing from a lowered angle, so his turret armor would be more effective even against my APCR. So this is bad, but we really need to at least try and control. Like, me being here is, I'm having, you know, I'm spotting enemy tanks when they're trying to, yeah, that guy's using the wreck as cover, which is smart. I'm spotting tanks that might try and pop out to shoot at stuff behind me, like the Batchat, the Waffle. Foch is there as well. I can try and put some pressure on if it looks like they're distracted, and it also means that their focus is hopefully at least somewhat going to be on me as a hull down IS-7. But this E-100 is proving to be particularly annoying. Like, there's not a whole lot I can do about that guy. But still, I'm giving spotting, and that's possibly the most important thing I'm doing right now. This is 3-5, and we've lost more tanks than they have. And one of them was a a T110E5, unfortunately, not Circon. Now, I don't know why I'm looking for shots through that Lorraine wreck. I think I could see just a bit of his tracks, and I was trying to see if I could maybe fire through or under the wreck, but nothing doing. So anyway, the Death Star pulled out for a shot, but that cost him dearly, and that's really good for our team because he's going to be very hesitant to do such a thing again now. The 110E5? No, that's an E100. It's because I said 110E5 earlier. The E100 is at least, he's not shooting HE, which would be doing some damage even so, and he's not shooting heat, which would have a very tough time getting through my turret, but he may possibly have shots on my hull from where he is. And that amount of penetration, even against the front of an IS-7 hull, it's pretty tricky. Anyway, they're being a little more aggressive now. We lost the T-30 on the 1-2 line. We don't have any eyes there now, and we've also got a Jagdtiger that's pushing round from the kind of swamp side. So Circon's come back. The Waffle didn't want to be alone, clearly. I think I was probably asking for eyes or support or whatever at this point, because that Jagdtiger was slightly worrying me. But the enemy team also has a Leopard 1 that was last spotted in A4. And he actually didn't try for the hill at all with that initial medium push. And that's slightly like he could pop up anywhere. He's and there he is, he's on the 1 line. So that's going to be an issue very, very shortly, because he will have shots up at us. And I'm not going to be able to sit here and spot for that much longer. They've stopped the Circon and the IS-8 have stopped the Jagdtiger from coming around though. Foch might have had shots as well. And of course we've still got the Batchat and the Waffle back there on the K-line also. Now, I'm aware there's various things happening. Like, this battle was very... it was kind of tense while it was happening. And there's various stuff going on in the chat as well. And I'm aware it's happening in the chat, but I'm not going to pick out what's going on in the chat, because there's a lot of people flinging around accusations of, oh, noob, oh, why you no do this, why you no do that, and some of it was directed against the Batchat. I think somebody got annoyed with me for I don't know what reason, because it's not like I was going to push up into the face of, you know, a Death Star, a T-30 and an ST-1 and an IS-8 and an E-100, and, you know, that would have just been suicidal. I'm basically just trying to keep control of this part of the map, or at least stop them from having total control for as long as possible. That's one less gun looking at us, that's useful. But there's that Leopard, yes. Now, it's taken longer than I expected it to for him to start trying to pepper me with shots. And I'm trying to hang on even so. But, no, this is not looking like it's a good position to be. Now, that was on my turret, and he's got time to sit and aim these shots, so the fact that it pinged off my turret was a little bit lucky for me. And there we go, the T-30's down, which is good. We pushed out a bit too far. But I've got to back off at this point. And there's that T-57 heavy wreck used there, and I know he's using those bushes, so I'm going to try a bit of blind fire as well. But the thing is, if I face hug that 57 heavy wreck to use that as cover, I might just get shot in the side by a Death Star or whatever. But even so, I should be a little bit further over. I'm not using that wreck sufficiently for cover at all, so I'm finally a bit more over. I've got this wreck between me and him at this point. But all these blind shots, I don't know if he was just popping out, taking a pot shot and then doing it that way, or if he was kind of side scraping so that he was showing a minimal amount of his tank. But none of my blind shots actually seem to hurt this guy, to discourage him, because you can basically see the puff in the dirt being kicked up as I shoot the ground every time. Even though I'm shooting right where he should be, if he is taking shots from there. Which he does seem to be. You know, that's where the damage indicator was exactly from. I was also, like, that first shot that tracked me as well, I should have just used my repair kit. I don't know why I didn't. I think I maybe had an idea that I might want to save it for later on, but that's the kind of situation where actually no, you use your repair kit. You can see with the rate of fire that the Leopard's trying to put down. He's just continuing to shoot in my direction, but all of these shots are now just going in the T-57 heavy wreck. So I don't know if he was trying to blind fire me, or if he was... I don't know, but he's just wasting his ammo at this point. It does have him mean I can't move up. However, our IS-8 has worked his way around, and he took a slow route, but he's a good tank to be doing it in. He's worked his way around. He's finally spotted this Leo, and it felt satisfying. Yes, there we go. So that's him taken care of. We now have control of that corner, and I can maybe start to push up around here a little bit again. Now, unfortunately, we lost our Waffle E100 to the Death Star. And there's the E5. So we've pulled this back a bit, but 11-10, this is still pretty damn close. And you can see there, Circon and Foch have taken a severe battery. Now, I don't have much health left, but they have even less. And crucially, I've got more armour. And we know where most of the remaining enemy tanks are, on the hill. The Object 704 is still around somewhere as well. But if we're going to push this, it needs to be me making the push, really, because I've got the best chance of actually doing this. But Circon, I don't know if he had just an inkling that the 704 was going to push round, but he basically moved around, and lo and behold, yes, there was the 704. So him and Foch are taking care of that. I'm keeping this 125 spotted, and the IS-8 is now in theory in a place where he could shoot up at this guy if he pulls out. Now, what would be ideal is if the 125 would come out where I could shoot him. If I pull round into that corner, there is a decent chance that I will just die, because that will be 3 guns arrayed against me. But anyway, it took a moment to realise that yes, I had a shot on his engine deck. Didn't set him on fire or anything, unfortunately, but still, that made him a little more shy. And it was a high roll as well. That was nice, 525. So that's a useful shot, and it didn't cost me anything in return. Unfortunately, it means he's even less likely to pull out now. However, Foch has killed the Death Star, so that's good. He was a very easy one-shot kill, and he obviously poked his head out a little bit too far. And bear in mind, this is the 9.1 Death Star, so it didn't have the armour buffs at that point. The IS-8, now he's still down there, but at this stage he could really do with moving up, and Foch was, as you can see, pinging him, and he does take the hint to move up, because he's got pretty good mobility. If he can get up round behind, well, that would be useful. The 704 is still pinned down on the 8 line, and I'm just teasing this 125 basically. And this next shot here, well, you're going to see why I don't like the 125 that much. He's now firing heat against me, and of course I'm hull down, so that just bounced off my turret. Heat on the turret, the IS-7, is not going to work the vast majority of the time. If you get the side and rear, maybe, but frontally, no. But I was easily able to hit his MG Cooper. And I'm going to try and repeat that performance, but he's obviously well aware that's what I'm aiming for, so he's well back into cover as well. Also, the STB looks like he's going around, and yes, he is, okay. Foch tries a snapshot as well, but we've basically, I mean, we've got to be careful here that we don't get caught in a crossfire, but we've kind of split up their guns at this point. The STB, oh, there he is, and I'm not quite looking in the right place, so I'll try a snapshot, but I can't afford too many more of those. I wasted a lot of ammo earlier trying to hurt that E100 and not managing it once, and this is one of those few battles where the lowish ammo count sort of comes to be annoying. Anyway, he snapshots me, I snapshot him, again it goes off my turret, and I think I hit him, but it kind of bounced off his lower hull or whatever. And I'm being a little cautious because they know I've got a long reload, or a longish reload. The 125 and the STB can both out-reload me, but oh, there we go. That one pens. I've got the health to take the hit though. And Foch pops up and gets him in the reload, so that's good. So, although it was a bit painful taking that hit, it was a useful hit to have taken. And with the 704 now down as well, we've got this. And there we go, Foch gets the final kill. So that was a long and tense battle. That was like, yeah, I was a bit on edge during that, and I'm sure we all were. I mean, that's one of those occasions where we had a bit of a disadvantage with the starting position on the map, and the enemy team was pretty good. So I would say this was one of those battles where it was just, it amounted to, you'd call it a very balanced fight. Like, this was a tough game all round, and although the enemy team were able to get that hill position, we worked together well enough as a platoon, and the other tanks as well. I mean, our teammates did pretty well out of that, that we ended up with a pretty respectable group of scores between us. Now on the team list it was actually the Waffle Panzer IV who himself was in a platoon. I mean, this was a battle with a lot of platoons. It's probably why there was that kind of level of teamwork going on. But he had over 5k damage with 4 kills. Foch had 4.7k with 3 kills. I was next with 3.2k. Zircon, unusually actually a bit further down, he only had 1.6. This was probably not a result he was happy with. Like, if he's got less than, say, 3,000-4,000 damage in a top tier anything, tier 10 anything, then he's usually not happy with that result. So, but yeah, the fact that he was alive, I mean, 1,600 damage is still 1,600 fewer hit points on the enemy team, and we were just able to, despite the fact that it was a very close fight, able to retain enough map control and to keep the areas free that we needed to have free, and to keep them at the end there bottled up, because being on the hill ended up being a disadvantage for them because they had no support anywhere else. And so the STB maybe could have tried to drop down and get around and do sneaky flanking things, but our Waffle was tying down parts of the map quite effectively. I mean, Foch and Zircon were also working very effectively together there, and I was trying to, as much as possible, be a presence on that approach to the hill. And it was all made possible by the lack of artillery, because artillery on mines especially can be really painful. If you're in a heavy tank, if you're trying to have control of that approach, then it is very, very difficult unless you've already got control of the hill, and then you can try and use the rocks for cover a bit, but you're still not, you don't have enough cover to be protected from arty splash damage. So that was what that made that such a, like, it was kind of an enjoyable fight at the end of the day, but it was a tense fight, and it would have been a lot harder and a lot more annoying with artillery in the equation as well, especially given that the north spawn artillery can basically sit in the corner behind a rock and be at almost zero risk of being spotted, whereas the south spawn artillery, if the enemy team has control of the hill, it is possible to be spotted unless you are kind of like shooting and then hugging the buildings afterwards. But even so, you're then vulnerable to being splashed by enemy artillery. So even starting on the north spawn, artillery has an advantage. So even one arty per team could have changed that outcome drastically. But as it was, that was, yeah, it was a tough fight, but we came through in the end, and it just goes to show that, you know, a platoon working together, being able to communicate effectively together, multiple platoons being able to do that. You know, everyone was obviously not talking together, but that kind of coordination can really influence the outcome of the battle, and I think it really did in that case there. So, if you enjoyed this replay, you can hit the like button, you can leave any comments below, you can subscribe to my channel, and as always, stay tuned for more.